I'm just looking. That looks too light to me. Let me switch it. 2, 1. Aloha! Welcome to another Mama Presents. You know me, I'm Jason Schwartz. Today I have a guest that some of you have seen before. This is Bob Roggasch. Bob, welcome to our show.
Hi, Jason.
I was saying hi myself. He's in good shape.
That's you know, because we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, we've done many things together. And
you can call me Bob if you want.
No. I know, Jason. I just, you know, it's one of those mistakes that comes up. You know.
It's not a mistake. It's fine. Bob has been a fixture here in the islands for a while. I don't know what year you came here, but you've been here since I've been here.
Yeah, I've been here about 21 years now.
I got here in '88, so you're still before me. But through the years that I've known Bob, Bob has been around, and many people don't know what he's doing or what he does. Bob is, not to get too off subject, has a background in engineering and is a scientist and has many different areas that he's worked on this island in different phases. But in the last number of years, I've known you pretty well as I want to call it a non-Hawaiian representative of Hawaiian King Akahi and his wife, what do you call her?
AkahiNui.
AkahiNui? AkahiNui and Akahi, which is the King and Queen of Hawaii. And Bob is going to share with you a little about the genealogy and stuff, right?
Yeah, we'll share a little about genealogy and share what took place in Oahu.
And that's the reason that we're actually having this show, is because this last weekend, the August 16th, I guess, at the Palace in Honolulu, Hawaii, there was an event that happened, and some of the news didn't get onto local televisions, and so we volunteered to be here and complete the story.
Hey, I'm so glad
why don't you jump in here, Bob, and tell us what happened.
Okay, well, we went to the palace. We took the ferry to the Oahu, and then we went to the palace and we walked in, and then we shut the gates, and then they had a marshal there who I didn't know, but he was supposed to be watching for there's a law that was passed in 1894, and that's called a blunt report. And the blunt report says that Hawaii is an occupied nation, and so therefore you had to give it back. But it never was given back because it's a civilian military operation. I don't know what comes first, the military or the population.
Anyway, you're mixing a little history.
Okay.
Here we are. It's Saturday. You guys go in.
We go in.
Who closed the gate?
Oh, I closed one gate.
Okay.
I closed one gate. And,
so you were closing the gates and declaring that this was now the territory of Hawaii. What happened?
It was the sovereign soil of the Kingdom of Hawaii, and the reason that the state, the county, Oahu officers couldn't really respond is because it's not under the jurisdiction of the city. It's under the jurisdiction of the Bureau of Land Management, and that's who's supposed to be taking care of it and stuff like that. But they've been served with papers many times, and so they're all in default. And so this was to get the issue of default out, huh? And it's been really good. It is number 2 in the world news today, and it's going to continue to stay there because the whole world knows that it's occupied.
Well, again, you're jumping ahead. Okay. Let me ask you a question.
You asked me a question. I'll answer that.
You were there Saturday, weren't you?
Friday.
Friday? This happened Friday. So you took over, and these people that were there couldn't deal with you. They called the Bureau of Land Management. Then what happened? Because I heard there were people arrested, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I was arrested, yes. We were all arrested and charged with different crimes. I was charged with simple trespassing, and others were charged with other crimes. I don't know what they were. I haven't really seen.
Was there any violence?
No violence. No
okay.
violence. And the lady who said that she got hurt and got beat up, that is a total.
So let's take that 2 steps. There was some lady that claimed that she was beaten up by whom?
Yes. Well, it was me. I was the only one there.
So she didn't say she was beaten up by you?
She was never beaten up.
So I'm just asking what she reported.
She said that she was being beaten up, and she kept bringing the issue up that she was beaten up. But
she worked there? Is that what her role was?
She worked there. I don't know what her role was. She came out. She was very distraught about the palace gates being closed. She might have been in shock from the last time, huh? But whatever the case is, she was very adamant to do it. And the Honolulu police came there, and they simply said, this is the jurisdiction of the Bureau of Land, and we can't get into it. And then she said that she was hurt and everything like that, and so then the governor got into it and said, oh, well, you can't do this. Everybody has to respond to this. Well, it was the only person who was being hurt was the people who were all over 60 in plastic handcuffs that were really tight. And those were the only people who really got hurt.
Let me explain. I'm going to turn Bob's words into English. What Bob said was the only one that was hurt were those that were supposedly trespassing.
That's right.
The king and his wife,
yeah,
and others that were there occupying the palace.
That's right.
Okay. So what did the governor have to do with this?
Well, the governor is the head of the state of the occupied state of Hawaii. She's the occupied governor of Hawaii.
So she's the one that decided what? That you should be removed from the location?
Yes, with full sort. There was 80 police there, and it was
80 police.
It was incredible to watch, you know. And you have to understand.
Am I correct that these are all the kapunas?
These are all kapunas.
So
the average age is probably 60, with some being 70. Myself being 68. And so there was no.
So it wasn't like an occupying force with armor.
No. Absolutely not.
Weapons.
They had thongs on. They had food out. They were welcoming the people to come into the gate who they thought was coming into the gate. They were welcoming.
So where do we go from here?
Well, it's a really interesting thing. I have to go to court on the 19th, and I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll go there. But the real thing is everybody has to understand what is the reality of the state in authority. The state doesn't have any authority here. The United Nations in 1960 said that the statehood did not meet the burden of self-determination. It only gave statehood and territory and not sovereignty. And those were the issues. And that goes back to 1946 to the Article 73. So that's the international element. And the other international, His Majesty is the king. There's no doubt about it.
Is there any reason why the king is not here or talking to the media?
Well, I think he's talking to somebody, but I don't know. I haven't talked to the king since I left Saturday.
We want to let the king know you are welcome on our show here. We hope that if you have anything that you want to say, that you have an outlet through us here at Public Access Television. I'm an independent producer and I don't speak for Public Access Television, but I know there's something to be said for freedom of speech, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I would like to think that what you're delivering is a lesson in history.
It's a big lesson in history.
That we are not occupying these lands as the state of Hawaii lawfully. And it's been brought up again in 1993, I believe it was.
That's right.
Where then President Clinton apologized to the Hawaiian people, and there have been all kinds of different, quote, legal actions trying to give more rights to the Hawaiians. But what does the kingdom want?
Well, they want their kingdom back. I mean, the Kanakamo'is, and we have to understand who Hawaii was. At the turn of the century, Hawaiians were Americans, and the Kanakamo'is are what we call Hawaiians now. After the genocide of the Kanakamo'is and getting rid of them, they started being called Hawaiian, or Kanak. It was real racist. Kanak. Hey, Kanak, get over here. You know? And they weren't ever given...
That wasn't the beginning of the Kanak jokes, right?
It was. It was the beginning, because the element of taking over society is to degenerate the society so they can't really feel comfortable about themselves. So that was what's been done here, and it's still being done. It was being done the other night. That was a total disregard for the rule of law. You know, the rule of law is that you have to abide by the law. But if you don't abide by the law, who are you?
Well, you know, I recall there was, it was maybe last year, even the year before, when you came to me and shared with me that the king had gotten documents that were stamped and dated in the Department of Records.
That's right.
That he was putting the state on notice.
That's right.
Right? Has anything happened from that?
Well, I think that's what happened. That's what we did on Friday.
So you were basically saying nothing has moved forward, and so you were taking.
That's right.
You were taking the liberty that you thought was within your rights to claim the land. Is that it?
Well, the state has given him the title for the 10 acres, so he has a title for it, and that was the Bureau of Conveyance. And the Bureau of Conveyance.
I'm only bringing it down to the fact that these are the issues that we'd like to see somehow discussed, and things should be more open, and the media should be more available. You know, we're public access television on Maui. If we're lucky, we'll have someone play it on other islands in different places, and of course on the net. But we're not the court of law, and we're not a court of law that is recognized by the United States and the Kingdom of Hawaii.
Yeah.
Who is? The international courts?
I guess that it would be the international court. Actually, in the Constitution of the United States, it says that when two nations come together, that the Supreme Court is the final, is where it goes. It doesn't go in district court or Supreme Court. It goes to the Supreme Court of the United States. That's the reason the board in Cuba was shipped it out well fast. They couldn't keep him because he was from another nation.
I don't know if you remember that story. There was a young boy who was over here and they had to ship him out. Unrelated to this. So I hope that's what's happening here. I'm going to let you talk in a second about it. I'm hoping that by all of you seeing this out there, that you will make your voices or have your voices be heard so that we can have more public forums about this and bring these issues up. These issues are not without controversy. No matter what way you feel about this, or what facts you have or don't have, I think many of us feel it's time we kind of came more in sights with this issue. I know a lot of people here who don't really know the facts, are more afraid of losing property that they have and being kicked out of this area. And from what I've had conversations with you, and also with King AkahiNui, that was and is not the intention of the Hawaiian Kingdom. But that stuff needs to be discussed. But these issues, these legal issues, need a public forum other than just some public access television show like me. So what is the most important reason you're here today? What did you want to get on camera to share?
I wanted to share the frustrations of the Kanaka people. They have a very, very difficult role in life. They've been occupied 113 years. And when we were at the palace and they took the queen in and locked her up, they didn't let her out like they did us. They kept her in there. They kept her in there because they wanted to divide. It's divide and conquer. But these are the tribe of Joseph. They are the 11th tribe of Israel. And most people don't know that, or they don't even want to know it. You know? But this is a righteous group of people. They have never harmed anybody. They've only been harmed. A lot of Kanakamo'oli's been harmed. When it first happened, they would come around and take them and put them over in Kolabi, not Kolabi, but that place where the leprosy is.
Kalau Papa,
Kalau Papa, in Molokai. And that's where they were thrown. And a lot of families have told me that story, that is their family life, is that whenever anybody would talk up about the king or queen, they would, it was just a queen then, they would take them away because they were illegal. That's the reason in Happy Valley there's the no-name cemetery, which is all the royal elite, who, with a lot of them, were all buried with no names, so their bodies wouldn't be dug up, because that's what they did. Look at what they did in behind them when they dug up, what, 600, 800 bodies? You know, to put a hotel on? You know, this is an act of genocide to the Kanaka Maoli people, and it's still going on today. It's going on in an illegal group of people who believe that they have the right to do it.
So I'm glad that you're here with us today, and I'm hoping that all of you out here will raise your voices so that we can have more public discussion. These are issues that have long been standing. There's been a division between a lot of people here because of, I think, mostly fear. I don't think that any Americans would in any way want to deny the Hawaiian people their rights. I do feel that once lands are bought and sold, and there was wrongful jurisdiction originally, things get complicated.
That's right.
But I am aware that the king is aware that they're 100 years later, and so many of these issues can happen. It was none of the current people that are alive that did any of these atrocities, and all the things that have happened we are now dealt with. So I'm hoping that we can do this in a way that can satisfy it.
I think the Nuremberg trial said a lot. It is the duty of every citizen to question whether the agency of the government is working within the bounds of their authority. You know? And that's what America is not doing. They're not working within the bounds of their authority, they're working in the bounds of their occupying. That's what they like to do, they like to occupy.
All I'm really saying by this is that I want to diffuse the fire.
I'm just using that word.
And I'm just sharing that I want to diffuse the fire and set up a real dialogue so that we can have discussion in a more productive way.
That's right.
That may not be my role, but if my role is to be here to give you this opportunity to talk, I'm here.
That's right.
I hope that AkahiNui and Akahi and any other representatives of the government of Hawaii that feel that they want to be heard can find a place here at our show.
Well, I think that they certainly can. They certainly have. I think you went down to Nihiko and did that one, did you not?
I understand. Well, this
issue, a long
issue,
time ago.
you know, I don't think that this can be discounted anymore. I wouldn't want to put words in your mouth, but or the king. But I would guess that this isn't the last we're going to hear of this issue.
Google was #2 story in the world. It is a big story around the world. And whether people look in Hawaii and say it's not a story, it's a story for the rest of every monarch, every government, you know, because after all, we occupy them by the war. We came in here just like, there's no difference between this and Iraq. No difference. I guess we've been doing it all the time, I don't know. But this has been given back all of its authority, and it should be, hopefully, that all Americans will embrace it, because embracing it will be the true justice of the world. That's what has to be done. And whether you think that it's not right or not wrong, it's really not your issue. The issue happened in 1893 when they overthrew.
What has gotten you so passionate that you're right on the front of this like you are?
Oh, because I'm an American. I'm an American, you know? I mean, I like to live by the Constitution. I like to have, you know, Article 1, Article 3, and Article 6 is what pertains in here. And when you see something that is so drastically wrong, and then you see the Akaka Bill, wow, how could anybody, you know? And the Akaka Bill is to make them American Indians. It's to take away all their land. That's what they want. They want the land.
These are discussions left for another day, I
That's
think.
right. I know, but I had to put it out
I
there,
just
so
wanted to be clear. The reason I thought it was important here is there was alleged violence, and that, from what you said, is not the truth.
No, it's not the truth.
So I hope that people will look and what's going on with an open mind and see if we can get some meaningful discussions and move this forward so we don't have to go over the same ground again and again.
But I would like to say one thing about when the police officer drove away, and she said that she was being attacked and the officer was driving away. That wasn't true. The officer drove away long before she came over to try to get out the gate, and that's what she may call attack. The door was being shut, you know, and I was stopping her from being hit. That might have been it, but to come and stuff like that. And there was really no violence. These people are not violent.
Can you give me the web address of the kingdom and anywhere where people can go up and get into a blog or dialogue about this?
Well, you can go to www.freehawaii.org.
www.freehawaii.org. Okay.
And that's the main site.
Is there a blog site there?
No, there's not a blog site there. As a matter of fact, the Free Hawaii is only a repository of papers so that you can make your own decision.
Okay, so that's an information site.
It's an information site.
If people want to get in touch with, in some communication with the Kingdom of Hawaii, how do they do that?
That may be pretty hard.
Okay, then I'm going to volunteer if you want to send emails to me, Mama Maui, MAMAMAUI, at mac.com, and in the subject put Kingdom of Hawaii, and I will relay the messages for you.
That's
okay?
Right. That's really good because we don't have anything like that. You know, they're just busy trying to keep everything going.
Anyway, I'm doing that as a service. I hope that the King and the Queen will consider coming either on our show or on some show where we can be able to show this. I'm going to put this piece up on the net that you will see, and I hope it gets viewership and input from all around the world, and maybe we can somehow be helpful in moving this thing forward. I've met Akahi and his wife, Akahi Wahine. Very nice people, very much in dialogue, not in any way physically combative. I found nothing but the greatest of graciousness in their whole demeanor. And so I found it very hard to hear that there was violence being created by them. That didn't sound right.
No.
So thank you for making that clear.
I do have a Paia Bob on YouTube site. It's Paia Bob 808. And it's basically...
YouTube?
YouTube, yeah.
Paia Bob 808?
808. And basically, we never talk about the issue of what we're talking about here. What I'm talking about is the issue of Obama running for president and being born in an occupied state. I don't think that he is American. I think that when it comes down to it, when in 1960, when the United Nations said that it didn't meet the burden of self-determination, I think it's a far stretch to take it there to say that he is a citizen.
Okay. Well, obviously, that's something that
that's all I'm
neither
about
you nor I can, immediately address. Thank you for coming and joining us. We also want to thank Has-Beans. We are at a coffee house that is virtually across from the Paia Post Office, where there's a cup of coffee. They've been very gracious hosts to let us use this location. We hope that you'll come here and say hello to Jen and Jill, and we want to thank you for all joining us today. Bob, anything last you'd like to say before we leave?
I would like to thank you very, very much for having me here. And no one should have fears that they're going to be thrown out on their ears. The international rule doesn't allow for that. If you're just a person working and living and everything, international, you're protected. You're protected. And Akahi knows that. He doesn't want to do anything like that. He is not against people. He is for his people.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you all for joining us. Aloha.
Good, Bob.
Huh?
Very good. See, because nobody else has the passion he does,
I have a passion for it.
How is it, all right?
Yeah, but see...
Knock.